Greetings, everyone! I'm the delicious and mythical GriffinMuffin. Now, a few things. So I decided I should try and get ahead and get up to the bit where we jump into Sun and Shadow and start the thing off from there. But I realized that there are little bits of stuff that happen on the way. So I was like, oh, yeah, we'll start recording from here, I guess. So I was going to have it so we jump right in and then get into it, but yeah, there's some stuff here, so let's start from here. This should be the final episode of streaming Pillars of Eternity in this playthrough with Jazera, the cipher. And tonight I am drinking James Squire 150 Lashes, another pale ale. I can't really move away from pale ale for some reason, so anyway, here we are. Oh, the door. Alright, let's get into it. Just to preamble, just in case those who haven't watched the previous stream, I gained the favor of all the gods, which I didn't do last time. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think it's just going to be the same. I'll be, saved as I fall down without having anything, I won't be just fall to my death or anything, which I did try. You do fall to your death and the game ends. So, unless you get the favor of the gods. So, here we are. We're having a bit of flashbacks with Iovara. And yeah, here we go.
I remember when I heard that. I snuck out at night and climbed the watchtower in the old fort because I wanted to see them better. That fort burned down a few years ago when we cast the missionaries out. It was the missionaries who set fire to it. They didn't want us to be able to use it. Shame. There was history in that fort.
They'd do a lot worse if they return. Those missionaries are all inquisitors now. Strange to think they're the same people underneath, but I suppose you would know. She looks at you. This is your home as much as it is mine. Do you worry about it? I worry about you. I think for this particular playthrough, I did it kind of like my character's in love with Iovara, so you should be more worried about yourself. Half the gods still plot your death at night. I
miscalculated many things since this began. I'm relieved you weren't one of them. It's a good thing we didn't hang you. I always knew this path would have consequences, but I never wanted to see Kratom suffer on my behalf. I don't think I can stay here any longer. I am told the Inquisition is gathering an army, that they have sent messengers to bargain with rulers from distant lands. Kratom is not built to withstand a siege. If war is coming, I should be doing what Theos is doing. I will need allies. Allies in a stronghold that can resist an invading army.
I wonder if this has anything to do with Avowed. Like, it may be like this little story about the, because obviously this is a great war that happens where, I actually don't know too much about this history, but I assume what's happening is the missionaries of the gods are going all across Aora, and they're going, hey, we have these bang-up gods over here, you want to join us? And they're like, yeah, nah, or yeah, nah. And, they join up or whatever. Maybe that's what Avowed is focusing on. That'd be interesting. Let's see. Have you thought about Ausonius? Ursianus? Sionus?
Osionis.
Osionis.
They have held off many would-be invaders, and their king has no love of the Inquisition's faith. I wonder, would he listen?
So that's that. I haven't fully explored Burial Isle. As you can see, there's a few bits up ahead. Oh. Oh, there's some, souls shunking into me. Yeah, I haven't fully explored Burial Isle. I only did the part with, related to Haravius' quest. And now, I know you guys can't see, but I've got Jazera, Aloth, Durance, Zawa, Kana, and Haravius with me. they'll be my my final crew. I wanted to bring back Adair, but unfortunately Zawa is 10 times better in combat than Adair. I really do want Adair to be there. That rhymed. For the final thing, but overall I do want to be also successful in the battle, and I can't bring myself to just go, oh, keep this fighter in here, even though Zhao is like 10 times better a tank. So, which is sad. I really want Adair to be with me for this final moment. Here we go. These guys should be piss easy. Oh, that's a lot of shades. Oh, hello there. Oh, there's 2 Kian... How do you pronounce that? Geshla? I know, like, the accent, the arrow accent on words can make it an S. Keon Geshla. Let's just do that. Alright, here we go. Mind Scream as always. Come on. And bouncy bounce. I was having problem clicking this shit. Get your sword out. Oh, wow. It's a one hit from
Yes.
I also installed O-rings on my keyboard, so I'm hoping that dampens the noise on the keyboard when it comes through into the mic.
Here's a lesson to...
And he's gone.
Certainly.
I wonder if there's any final souls to suck in. Oh, what's this? You venture through a doorway into a dim passage. The air is still musty. Pull the rubble loose. Clear the rubble with a pry bar. Light breaks the tunnel up ahead. I'm just going through. Oh, hello. Okay, that was unexpected. Oh, I could have just traveled over here. Anyway, let's get rid of these guys. Aloth, do your thing. Dropping like flies. You gotta remember, most of my characters are now level 16. Let's have a look. Let's see, 16, 16, 16. Kana's level 15. Haravius is 15. But look at that, so close to leveling.
Oh?
Get all this crap. Yeah, it really is a shame that I didn't really, do the other things. Like, if you go into my quests, we got... That's the 2 main quests left. And then we got the Alpine Dragon. This is something to do with the Glenfarthon, and I really couldn't be bothered. The Master Below for Cadnua. So those are the 2 real things I have left. So it's just the 2 major dragons.
Oh.
And I'm thinking I might... Like, I'll keep a save around here. So I'll do that now. Oh, hello.
Another turn, Inquisitor. I ask again, Jovara Ixensios, do you confess to these heresies of which you stand accused?
He waits, but Iovara only stares straight ahead, her face stony, the creak of the restraints the only sound.
Do you confess to apostasy?
I confess to renouncing a mistake.
Do you confess to conspiracy against the one true faith?
I confess to opening minds.
Hell yeah.
Do you confess to false prophecy?
I confess to following a false prophet.
Fucking the balls on this woman.
Indeed. And where might we find this heretic?
He wears the robes of a Grand Inquisitor.
You have no followers here, heretic. Your lies hold no sway in the court of the Penitence.
Only my truth, then.
Another turn.
No! Wait! Wait! I'm ready. I'm ready.
You are ready to give a confession?
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Thale shakes his head and points at the Inquisitor, and the scraping grind of rusting gears echoes in your mind as the apparitions fade away. It's a pretty interesting side quest, but it's unfortunate that you have no real sort of involvement in it. I mean, you of course get to choose what happens, like are you in love with Eivara, or you just follow her, and all this sort of stuff, but there's no real sense that it's
Certainly.
affecting you other than just watching stuff. Fivepen says we land on the jagged bones at the last drop. That's great. Alright. I will save here. I think actually the game does an automatic save for you, but I want to have it so I can just turn around. Importance. Oops. Know how to spell. Type, I should say. Important. Save. Yes. So I have this so that I can go back and do the two dragons, and also do the rest of White March Part 2, because apparently I haven't even completed it. Who knew? I did like the main story, but apparently there's something else. What can we do for you? Let's do a bit of that. Survival 13. And I cannot be bothered doing this. Just burn a second level. Just burn a second level. Do it. There we go. Okay.
Yes.
Let's do this. Actually, do I have enough drink? Should probably top up. Hope we're all having a good time. Well, a bunch of you probably watching this afterwards. But, whatever. It does not matter. I still ask the question. Very muggy night in Melbourne tonight. Okay. A great pit lies in the shadow of the statue of Woodica. Woodica? Let's just go with Woodica. Of Woodica. No light from the surface reaches at the bottom, but even so, you catch flickers of a ghostly glow in the depths. A wind from the pit buffets you. It isn't cold, but it raises goose flesh along your arms. The wind carries a whisper, low and sibilant. As you look into the pit, souls gather around you. They encase you in a cloud of essence that swirls around your body while you consider your next move. Well, we could just turn around. Or we could jump into the pit. Oh. The sudden drop takes your breath away, but the souls catch you, encasing you in a shining, thrumming aura. But while they slow your descent, you can still feel that you are falling faster than you should be. The essence flowing around you is strong but chaotic. You find yourself drifting toward the wall. Nearby, Kana drifts downward at a rapid pace, carried by another glowing stream of souls. Ah, why did I ever agree to this? Kana flails outwards briefly, and then steadies, holding his arms out for balance. It is hard to keep, Jazera. Look out for the wall. Let's do number 2. Concentrating, you focus on the essence around you and knit it together in your mind. What was a jumble of souls becomes a single entity, coordinated and purposeful. It steers you to safety at the corner of the pit. You manage to spread your arms and legs into an X, steadying your position at the rate of your descent. You reach the court of Penitence, millennia-old stones, safely under your feet. Your party is considered high level for the contact in Act 4. If you would like, the critical path can be increased difficulty to give you more of a challenge. The rewards you receive will be the same regardless of the options you choose. Your choice cannot be changed once you have selected. I'm going to go with standard. I already done a hard playthrough when I first did this, so I really don't have the energy to do high level and just keep on fucking bashing my head against the wall in some cases. So, if you don't mind, I'm just going to do standard, which is just normal difficulty for me. Okay. We're almost getting into it. Just loading
What
now.
seems like an eternity, your rapid descent comes to an abrupt end. You remain still for a moment while your heart settles and your eyes adjust, breathing in stale, forgotten air. Before you, a narrow and eroded walkway becomes faintly visible in the dim light, cutting a winding path through a cavern so expansive it seems a world unto itself. In the distance, you can make out the cold gleam of living Audra veins that spike and fork in and out of view from the murky depths beneath. Their glow a faint and fleeting guide along the ancient trail. You look above at the opening you jumped through, now barely a speck of light like some distant star alone in the cosmos and forever out of reach. Your only way lies ahead.
Let's do it. Oof.
Well, that went better than I expected.
Oh?
I think that statue of Woodica was watching us soil ourselves on the way down.
That was bracing. If there is time later, I would like to try that again without the souls.
If there is time later, I would like to try that without the souls.
Certainly. What have we here?
Oh yeah, we gotta watch out for traps.
Let's see what lies this way.
But I know she doesn't really have a high enough... Yeah, good. Alright, cool. It's not too bad then. From what I remember, there are a lot of traps. So let's be wary. Keep our eyes out.
What have we here?
Oh, hello. Well, he died. Oh, another one. I think largely we're just facing specters and Audra animats in down here.
It's done.
I can't interact with it. Oop. Hello there. See, I'm annihilating this stuff.
That's not very helpful.
Let's go!
Actually, let's help out a bit here.
Yes? Ah.
Too easy. Yeah, I think we're gonna breeze through this section pretty much. How do we have a look at this thing? Is it over here?
Sharp eyes and keen ears.
Oh, Alof. Still attack it. There we go. It's not our friend. We don't need it as our friend. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. The pillar tugs at your essence. A pulse from the world itself moves through it. Isn't that awesome? You see like the light moving through it and shit. That's grand. Let's move through into the next section. I don't know how many levels there are in in the Court of Penitence. Oh no, this is Briath Aemon. Okay. Now there is one part in this that I will need to stop and pause for to make a save because
That didn't work.
So obviously I've played this game before. I know what's revealed that kind of goes. It's like the big plot twist in this whole thing, and I think it is on this level. So I'll need to pause before we start it so that I can go back and record it because it'll be very essential for the breakdown. By the way. Sorry, I'm just hearing something outside. Probably just neighbors. Okay.
Sharp eyes and keen ears.
Following your lead.
I can tell what traps look like now.
It's done.
What's this thing? Is it just another pillar of essence? Yeah, it's just tugging at your essence. Soul Ardra prison, huh? That'll be interesting. So I'm just gonna make another save. This right now. And I'll just call it Ayavara. Because I know you talk with Ayavara again. Hey, Sync, how's it going? Thank you for joining. Yeah, you haven't lost out on too much. The only thing that's kind of revealed was like Ayavara, which is like the woman that's involved in your past experience as a Watcher, was tortured. That's pretty much the only thing that is revealed. We are deep in the depths of, well, not deep, it's the first level of Sun and Shadow. Ayavara dialogue thingy. Because I will need this for the breakdown. So I need to make sure I can readily go back and just access it and record it. Alright, let's continue. Oh, shit. Anything serious? Or just a common cold or whatever.
Need something?
Let's get you into bow mode.
Following your
Let's get you to do something. I'm getting really lazy with the combat now because I'm just like, I can just auto attack things that die. But I should remember to remain mindful. Because there will be a moment where I'll get screwed up. Can I attack things with this?
That's not.
Yeah, I get that. Last year I had a bit of a virus thing because usually I get vaccinated, but the vaccinations came out just before I left for Melbourne. So we back in Perth, we were like, oh, we got to get vaccinated and everything, you know, we always do. And like the 1 week before we left, they ran out of vaccines in Perth for the flu. So they were like, oh no, you can't get it. So we went over to Melbourne. We came here and we're like, yep. They're like, yeah, we're out of vaccines. And then like a few weeks later, I caught this really ugly virus that took me out for like 9 days. And it was shitty as well because I just started work.
Yes.
Like I started my new job, I should say.
That's not very.
Oh yeah, line them up. Ooh, that caused a bit of damage. Let's do that again. That was brilliant. Took out 2 of them. Yeah, I know, right? Nah, I'm glad to know you're feeling better. So this should be a really
Yes.
easy sort of thing, because even the game told me before I entered this place, it was like, you're really high level for this place. Do you want us to increase the difficulty? I'm like, no, I want to finish the game.
I will walk unseen.
I can get it to spill it.
It's done.
Oh, good. A brigandine. I think this is it. But I keep on saying that, so who knows. No, I'm pretty sure this is the bit, so I'm just gonna quick save. I remember very vividly last time, it was like I opened a door and I walked in and a big cutscene happened. There we go. So I don't know if you've played Pillars before Sync, but this is what you're about to see is like a really big plot, a really big thing that happens. Oh my god, I remember this. I remember the first time I went through this, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Alright. Shame no one else is on, but hopefully they see it afterwards or whatever. A column of Adra rises above you, stoic and silent. Its ridged layers a measuring stick for the passing of ages. It feels to you as a thick block of ice. As you perceive, buried deep in the core, its core, a dim, flickering flame, all but extinguished, yet preserved against the ravages of the elements. At your approach, the flame seems to steady and draw strength, and the layers separating it from you melt away, and you are bathed in its glow, a bright beacon in the gloom. Yeah, that's the weird thing as well. Like, losing your sense of taste and smell is a COVID thing, but you said that you got tested, so you know. But that's very fascinating that other viruses can do that. I mean, I've studied viruses, but you know, I'm not an expert on them, so maybe others can do that. That's pretty interesting. The glow seems to fade, as though you had just adjusted to its intensity, and where it was, Iovara seeps into existence. An idyllic... I know what an eidolon is. Idolic? Is it idolic? Idyllic? Fuck, I've never seen that word before. Idyllic shade, hovering above the moist prison floor. Moist. Though ageless, she appears somehow different to you now. A slight stoop in her carriage, perhaps, or a trace of sunkenness in her eyes. There is a broad scar across her face, fibrous and wormy where flames once lapped. Unhealed, even in death.
So my love returns to me at long last.
So the game does recognize when you do the dialogue options of, you know, you fell in love with Iovara. That's good. I like that.
You are so different now from who you were then, yet much remains the same. Old troubles with a new face. What is it that has brought you here?
It would seem I have unfinished business here.
I'd hoped after our last discussion you would find what you sought. Has it eluded you all this time? I can only guess your presence here has something to do with Theos. The energy of this place changes when he is near. I don't know what he has done, but I do know of the souls that pass through here now. They do not come by choice.
Theos diverted them from the cycle. He seeks to empower Woodica and to blame Animancy for the damage he's caused.
After all this time, he would still stand against the tide.
You knew me when Theos did. There's something I need to know about that time.
I will tell you what I remember.
There's something about that lifetime my soul can't let go of. I need to know what it is, and I'm running out of time. I see moments from that life, of you, of the Inquisition, of Theos.
I can see his influence, still hanging like a weight about your neck. So it always was. He had inspired something in you. We spoke of him the last time you were here also.
I've been here again.
It was just after the trial. You were agitated. I think because you started to consider that what I was teaching may have been true.
And what was that? Iovara's mouth tightens and her brow furrows, a look of pity. Her eyes shift back and forth between each of yours, as if looking for something that would help her decide whether to speak.
That the gods aren't real.
That can't be. We've been following them for thousands of years. If that's true...
Perhaps not to her. Many are those whom the gods have scorned. This is petty retribution.
Nonsense! Clearly she has not been on the receiving end of a god's ire. She'd know how real the gods can be.
There's a theory puts my boldest to shame. But we ourselves have seen the gods' influence.
What I taught was that the gods whose faith we had been spreading were not gods at all, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
Who created these gods, and for what?
They were conceived by Engwith, a society of high minds and broad concerns. Theos' people. In their time, every people worshipped its own gods. Sometimes they warred over it. After a few wars of their own, the Engwithans sought an end to it. They devoted all their energy to finding the true creators. Generation after generation, they prodded and worked the stitching of the world and unlocked its secrets. One day, they found an answer. Except the answer was no answer at all. There were no gods to be found. Or if there ever were, they were gone.
This is the main reason why I love Pillars of Eternity so much. I mean, I could rant about it after or now, whatever. But it is really like the main point of where I fell in love with Pillars. Like up until this, like when I first did the playthrough, my first playthrough I should say, and I was like, this is pretty fun, I like the in-depth world building. And then this bit came where it revealed that the gods were created by people. It was just like, oh my god. Like finally, they address something that's so important in world building. Like, where do the gods come from, you know? And like, you know, they say like they searched for the gods and they couldn't find anything, so they created their own.
It shook them, this finding. If they could discover this on their own, how long until others would? How long before war and chaos reigned over a world without consequence? But they had mastered many things in their pursuit of these answers. And with their mastery, they crafted their own gods to fill the void, and sent missionaries to the corners of the world to spread their faith.
This is why you started your own faith.
I never thought of it as faith, but I think you are right to call it that. Let the world see. Let them decide what to do. That was my faith. I became a missionary because the gods brought me hope that I wanted to bring to others. For a time, the truth sent me to a dark place. Then the day came when I realized nothing had changed, that I still had a purpose, and the purpose was the same and it was worth living for. I began questioning the other missionaries in public, exposing their parlor tricks. In time, their following became mine.
How did you discover this?
The Engwithan missionaries all knew it, but they never told the rest of us. They meant it to be a secret that died with them, and in the end, they allowed their bloodlines to fade from memory. I had been assigned to join a few of them at a temple. I found the door to their chambers closed, but the room was stone and the door thin. Their voices carried. I heard enough. I investigated the things they spoke of, and everything was there, just as they said it'd be.
Later on after, I left the Order. A few Engwithans found my words persuasive and joined my cause. They revealed what I did not already know. Is it true, what you taught?
You asked me this once before. Nothing I can say would be any proof, and it may be certainty your soul craves. Resolution. But if you are bound for the same place Theos directs these souls, You will see for yourself, as you once did. Everyone faces this truth at one time or another. Few confront it. Few have the stomach to ask what if. And in avoiding the question, they deny themselves an identity of their own.
See? More. Everyone faces this truth at one time or another. This idea that, you know, trying to find some sort of resolution, trying to find an actual, like, hardcore answer to certain things in life. And it's true. Like, it's hard to ask, what if that's not real, or question things. And in avoiding it, they deny themselves an identity. It's an extremely important point, just kind of in general, like not only like your personal existence, but also the existence of people. And I think it really touches on it. Iavara scans her audience in silence, her eyes thoughtful, lingering on each member of your company in turn, finding interest in things unseen.
What if it were forbidden knowledge rather than fault that earned your doom? What of your guilt?
I have seen with my own eyes the deceptions of my goddess. The Watcher has shown me as much. But it was not until now that I understood how truly desperate she was. The depths of her deception.
Just to kind of help, I'm gonna raise the volume on my audio at my end, just so people can see what's happening. Well, hear what's happening.
You speak of her deceptions, but what of your own? Was it her words that led you down your path? Or was it the absence of her words? A gap that you filled with your own broken thoughts.
Which is true. Like, Durance likes to come across that, like, Margaret is the one that really... He's devoted to Margaret, but when he couldn't hear her anymore, his actions were his own, but also they were to impress Margaret. So is it really, it was his own free will, or was it really that he was still in the grips of Margaret? It's extremely interesting to think of it like that.
What if you had always been alone, without guidance?
Then it's because I've managed to find my own direction. But how many can find purpose and satisfaction in the reality you offer? Would it comfort the grieving families to know that their children were hollow-born over a war of ideas? Would it quell the riots in Defiance Bay? However the gods were created, they exist now. That's what matters.
It's a very rational way of looking at it, yeah.
It is no offer of mine, this reality. It exists whether you accept it or not. And these things you speak of, these ills in need of a cure, ask yourself, if the gods had no influence, would these things exist at all? Or would the world be better off?
Extremely good question.
If all our common threads are spun from a lie, what's left to bind us together?
For thousands of years, the Angwithan lie clouded our sight. How can we claim there is no other way when we never had the opportunity to discover one? There are answers out there still, in places we've never thought to look.
Well done, Kana.
What if neither guide knew the way? How then would you choose a course?
Wal teaches us that the gods cannot give you lasting wisdom. They can only inspire you to find wisdom in your own time.
Zawa.
What if some things can never be recovered, and no greater good comes from their loss?
Nothing is truly lost when its influence remains.
Zawa always busting out the truth bombs.
All things pass in time, even influence. What if their purpose then?
What if we can be assured of nothing? Whew. Then the only value is the things we create ourselves. Yes, I believe that. Then we had best build our own strength so we can bear it. Then only we can cease to exist as beings of peace can be found. Then it is the questions that have always posed more value than their answers. Then the fewer people who realize that, the better. Then all we can do is endure. Ooh, okay. So I think it's either that it is the questions that have always posed us for more value than their answers, or to me it's then the only value is the things we create ourselves. Go for that.
There is bliss to be found in the things we create, but sorrow as well. Every creation bears the imperfections of its creator, and its creator's creator. Art and song are creations, but so are weapons and lies. We must be careful that our creations do not consume us.
That's very profound.
I ask these things not to trouble you, but to show why they must be confronted. No answer is simple, but somewhere between them all lies a truth so beautiful, not even a god could conceive it. Do we not owe ourselves a chance to find our part in it?
We do. Even without assurances, there is still truth. No, people need to know that things happen for a reason. A fabricated reason is better than none at all. No, I don't think this character would definitely... It's definitely that. We do. Even without assurances, there is still truth. And I believe that personally as well, so let's do it.
If that is truly what you believe, then you are a far different person than the one I knew. I've been alone here with my thoughts for so long now. I've found peace with my failures, and with my punishment. I no longer curse fate for what might have been. But there is one thing that has clawed and scraped at my mind all these years. One thing that will not be put to rest until I know. Until I understand. I need to know why you chose to remain with the Inquisition, even after you'd learned the truth. Do you remember?
She asks. The memory springs to your mind immediately, as though it had just happened. I wanted to please the gods. The capture brought me glory. I was afraid of what Theos might do to me if I didn't agree to it. I think that's it for me. Like, for this character, I think it was really like she got selfish. You know, she didn't want to be caught by Theos and have the same fate, so she sold her out.
Woodica gifted him a great many things, but his ability to manipulate was always his own. Good. The things I taught, the things I believed, I needed to hear that. I needed to know it wasn't because
I thought Theos was right. I needed to know it wasn't because after everything you'd learned, you'd still rather believe in a lie. If that is the conclusion people reach once they know everything, then my purpose has been a mistake. Did my opinion matter so much to you?
Of all that I loved you for, it was your righteousness most of all. You had heard both sides, seen everything. If not you, then who?
You're never going to be able to convince anyone of everything, true or not. There will always be dissent.
I expected dissent, but I needed to know that true faith would prevail. Perhaps I've been wrong to place so much importance on one person's actions. It was all I could do to feel like there was an answer. Even knowing what you've told me, some part of me knows it doesn't truly answer what I wished to know, nor will an eternity of silent contemplation. I will have only my guesses and suspicions, and that will have to do. And what of your understanding of our past? Are you at ease with the choice you made?
I see the world differently now than I once did. I regret what I did to you. I wish your forgiveness. It wasn't me who made that choice. I bear no responsibility for it.
At first I thought this might be the source of your soul's anguish, but now I see I was mistaken. You are not divided on this matter. You have put it behind you. It is with Theos that your agony lies, in sun and shadow. Your questions are not for me, but for him. And it may be that only an answer from the mouth of Theos himself will satisfy your needs. Yet if there is anything I can tell you that would be of use, ask and you shall know.
Are you bound here until the end of time?
In a matter of speaking. This is Braeth Yamen, the court of the Penitence. Souls are confined here until they repent. They must beg the forgiveness of a god, pledge their soul to them, and they will be lifted from this place to the world above. In truth, they receive leniency, but not true mercy. The spite of Woodica is eternal. They linger above, at the side of the old court, and are not permitted to leave the island, forever severed from the cycle. This prison was full once in the days of the Inquisition, but time weathers all things, even will. I'm the only tenant who remains. Yet, I feel their presence strongly now, as it was in the beginning. You have brought many of them here. They cry out for the judgment of Theos. You have struck some bargain with the gods, then.
Better be on their side than Wardica's.
Better to be on no side at all. Woodica may be the most dangerous of the gods, but make no mistake. Engwith built gods from ideals, and an ideal on its own is a grotesque and vicious thing.
Yep, that's pretty true, yeah.
But these souls, these forgiven the gods have bequeathed you like chattel. They were loyal followers in life. They will be with you to the very end.
Why don't you repent? You could be free of this place.
Last time someone asked me that, I was bound to an iron wheel with a broken spine. There are many things I've come to doubt about the choices I made in life. But that trial was my one moment of certainty. Even without a chorus of gods to tell me I had been right. The gods need to be reminded that we have a spirit, and that spirit is proof against their power. They have the power to manipulate and confuse and ruin us, but not to change our will. I will remain here until the world crumbles and fades from existence, with joy in my heart, knowing I've shown them what they truly are.
This place, Sun and Shadow, what is it? I could tell you what I believe, but again, it would be no proof. I have only what I have seen, and others would have what they have told me about it. There is only one man who could tell you who knows it to a certainty, and you shall face him soon enough. I will leave you to see it for yourself. Make your own judgments. Better for your soul that way, I think. How is it you speak Adiran? I speak no language now, but the wordless expressions of the spirit. It is through my connection to you that I am able to draw upon your words and form them as my own. How do you know what it is I need from Theos?
I could not say for sure. But you have been to Sun and Shadow before, and it came at a crossroads in your life, when much of what you knew had been upended. I have to believe it will come to you there. Your concerns then were of loyalty and trust and the gods. Everything I told you seemed to send you further into doubt. His words mattered to you when you knew him then. After you and I spoke, you went immediately to seek him out. Perhaps you simply sought confirmation from the man you trusted. If something from that time still troubles you, it may be something he told you then, or refused to tell you. He keeps secrets better than any in this world.
Why has Theos done all this?
He cares only for the secret he keeps locked away. He destroys anyone who might discover it, no matter their chances. That's why he's always favored Woodica. It isn't in her love of promises or justice. It's her disregard for the rules. Her willingness to do what is necessary. To Theos, she's not a deity, but an ally with which to conspire. When her power waxes, she does as she pleases with this realm, as well as hers. And she wants that secret guarded as much as he. If Theos succeeds, there will be a shift in the balance of power among the gods. Woodica was vanquished once, when the other gods decided she had gone too far, and her power diminished. With this infusion, there is no telling what she will do. The only certainty is that there will be chaos in their realm, as well as ours.
How can I get to Theos? How can I get Theos to tell me what I need to know?
You will not find a more resolute being on all of Eora. There is no offer you could make, nor spell you could cast, nor pain you could inflict that would make him reveal what he hides. But I see you have become a watcher in this life. Perhaps in defeat, when he can no longer defend himself, you might learn something from him.
It's time for me to go.
Theos will not wait for you. If you do not catch up to him now, you may never find him again.
The gods have given me the souls of their forgiven. If you repent, you can join with them. Help me strike the final blow against Theos. Your defiance here is an illusion. You are a slave to the gods, bound to their rules, stuck in their system. Your continued existence is proof of the gods' dominion over all of us. If you hadn't planted doubt in my mind long ago, I'd be living a normal life right now. Before I go, I will pay you. Woo! No. You could join with them. Help me strike down the final blow.
If I repent, all I have done has meant nothing.
Fair point. Your defiance here is an illusion. You are a slave to the gods, bound to their rules, stuck in their system. Your continued existence is proof of the gods' dominion over all of us. You notice a bond now, one that has always been, interleaving of her essence with yours. At your extremities of your perception, you are tied to this woman's spirit. You can feel a measure of control over it, as though it were its shepherd. What are you suggesting? I can disintegrate your soul, make you cease to exist. Then I would be no different than the other souls the gods have broken in this place. I do not wish to stop fighting them. The ultimate commitment to making your point is to sacrifice your own existence. As long as you are here, the gods know you value the life they gave you. That's a tough one. I don't know if I could really agree with that. Just so, but the thing is, she is trapped here for eternity. I don't like that idea of that. Because all she really did was like try to show the truth to everyone, and she's paying for it. It feels right that we should try and, make her free of her existence, to actually just kind of move on and not be in so much pain. Let's do it. For a long time, Iavara says nothing. Looking at her now, she now stares off. The fatigue is unmistakable, as though her life had been some dream from long ago, and her imprisonment a day without end. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps there is a way to end this on my own terms.
I am grateful you came and found me here, no matter the circumstances. You're not exactly who you once were, I have to remind myself. But seeing you one last time, and remembering what we shared, brief as it was better than anything I dared hope for in this place. I suppose I have waited long enough, and I do not wish to delay you any further. Come, let's be done with this once and for all. I am ready.
Disintegrate Iavara's soul. In your mind's eye, Iavara's soul becomes a dot on a parchment. Becomes a dole of parchment. Your focus flies through the dole in waves of sparks that gather in clusters at its feet. You push harder and the sparks engorge, dancing upward as flames that climb to the base of the dole, curling it, peeling back the woven fibers and turning it into a luminescent orange before fading them to the purest black. The dole seems to hang there for a moment as the last of the parchment is consumed by the last of the flame, leaving only the tenuously connected strands to hold together its shape, like some intricate work of lace. Iavara tips her head slightly to you, and with that, the last strands give way, coming apart as particles of ash that scatter, carried on some invisible breeze to the nothingness beyond. She is gone. I admit, that did feel weird to do that. Didn't necessarily feel like it was the right thing to do, but I think it was what this character would do. didn't do that before. I don't remember what I did to this character. Did to Eivara beforehand.
So, it's true. The gods are a sham that people have followed for thousands of years.
Elof's having a nervous breakdown. Is that it? Oh no, there's something over here. Oh, hello. Jesus. Surprised a little bit. So what did everyone think of that? Let me know in the comments if you're watching this after the stream or for those watching right now. I will say also that it's those moments that I miss in Deadfire.
On the hunt.
Is that there's all these bits of like, you know, these grand epic things of like, oh yeah, like discovering the gods are all fake and all that sort of stuff. Well, not fake, but you know, they're not legit, basically. And Deadfire kind of more focuses on very, there is some element of like mystical sort of religious importance behind a lot of what happens, but largely it's still kind of focused on political factions and stuff. Been using the pillar a bit more in these fights lately.
Yes?
Consider it. Blood makes the grass grow.
Forticore! Here's a lesson.
Die!
That's...
Nice. Alright, what do we got? The ancient Ardra still bears the impression of thousands of souls broken upon it. Your soul burns? Your soul burns with remembering the suffering.
Certainly. Oh?
Well, we got a chest here. What?
Oh?
Daybreak. Gauntlets of swift action.
Oh?
Guess the trap didn't do anything. Oh, Alof wants to talk.
We've been lied to. Our whole lives, and many lives before that. And it's led us to put our faith in a pantheon of gods that never deserved it in the first place.
What difference does it make? People will be what they are, whether or not the gods are there. No, I don't believe that. People need to believe in something. The gods, however they came to be, serve that purpose. Theos is wrong. People are fundamentally decent. Knowing the truth can only make them better. It's an outrage. There is no excuse for misleading people like this. The Inquisitors were right. People are full now. I think for the first time I'm going to comment on something rather benevolent.
You're right. People will be better off finding direction on their own than following this farce. Besides, the gods haven't exactly done much to prevent us from slaughtering each other.
Exactly.
If anything, they've only given us more pretenses for doing so.
Exactly.
I've also been thinking. There won't be much left of Theos by the time you're done with him, if I know how you operate. That will leave the leaden key headless. Perhaps it's best it stays that way.
So, last time I did this, I made it so that Alof took over the leaden key. This time around, I'm going to make it so that he doesn't take over the leaden key.
Then let's face Theos. When this is all over, I'll make sure that no one is able to commit his abuses again.
Let's go. Soul Guardian Pillars. So what do these pillars do? Oh, it's just give us health. Okay, cool. Fair enough. So now we can go to Sun and Shadow. I'll do a... So I think I'm pretty sure I did the right thing by disintegrating Eavara's soul. Because think of it, you know, that would be... She would be there for thousands more, like, many, many more thousands of years until I did something. Alright. Now, I don't know how many levels there are to Sun and Shadow. I think there's 2. So there's, like, the main one where you kind of wind around this massive, like, kind of ring, and then you proceed into the actual court, where there's, like, the main boss fight. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, it's really dark.
Even my Stalgar eyes can't see in this darkness.
Oh, it's this bit. So, like, you go for a bit where, like, it's just completely dark. And you have to get to certain points and reveal shit, then you get into massive fights. See, there's, like, a little bit here, and it'll be like, zoom off. Speaking of zooming off, I am going to...
Full of surprises, aren't you?
Incredible! I knew the builders could work wonders, but this is amazing!
We light our own path now, Watcher.
Whoa.
Everyone says something so profound, like, wow, this place is amazing. And like, I knew the Ingwithans were magical. This is amazing. And, and Zawa could only say, whoa. Like he's some sort of, like he's fucking stoned. He's just like, whoa. Oh man, I'm so... That's one thing I'm gonna miss. That's one thing I'm gonna miss in number 2 if I decide to play on with this character. It's just missing Zawa. I'm so sad they didn't decide to bring him along into the next one. Oh yeah. I'll tell you what, these Ingwithan shades do not look very friendly.
Yeah?
Yes?
That didn't...
Yes.
Get rid of it. No. Yep, this is a bit where you have to reveal shit and you find a dragon, I think. Like, not a big dragon like the Sky Dragon or anything, but you do fight a drake or something. Yeah, there it is, the Shadow Drake. But remember, everyone, we are level 16, so we should be doing okay. What can we do to this guy to kind of fuck it up a bit?
Yeah?
Can we put him in a time lock? Seal it off? Nope, whoops. Seal it away a little bit.
Spot on.
Stasis shell. Perfect. Isn't that... what is it doing? Is it still attacking me? Can it still attack me? That doesn't look like it's in a stasis shell, frankly. The hell?
Yes?
Oh, I got a friend. Let's get you to do something, huh? Get you... So let me just kind of target just that. Oh, serious? It's dominated? I didn't want that. Just keep on attacking it, please.
Zawa is ready.
Zawa is ready. See, this is the thing. Last time when I did this, I actually had to attempt that multiple times.
Yeah.
Because the Shadow Drake was pretty nasty, but, you know, just freaking annihilated that thing. Chalky bits of bone break away from your fingertips. So, I find it interesting with this here. Does that mean the Inguithans, like, imprison dragons? Like, did they actually have them under their, like, thrall or something? That'd be interesting. I wonder if, like, the Cypher class is actually, like, some sort of remnant of, like, what the Inguithans were able to do. And because they all died off, like, you know, their secrets were, like, lost forever, basically. But when people started discovering the Inguithan ruins and all that sort of stuff, like, maybe the secrets of being a Cypher or a Brishaguan actually come back or something, you know, like that would be pretty interesting. Oh, that's a lot of them. Alright, time to fight. Hey, what's that thing? That Shadow Drake that's just like spazzing out, doing its thing. Alright then. Oh! That's even bigger than before. Alright, everyone buff up. Let's get something going here. Damn it, the spells aren't going... Wow. I did not know it could cause that much damage. I thought it would just be like a light touch, but that spell annihilated my own crew. Look at that. How much damage did that do? Look at this. Like, 1 graze, 4 hit. It, like, just raked through that, for the health of that thing. But now I'm pretty sure I have to get you to turn into a wolf, into a Stalgar, and just annihilate this thing, because it's nearly dead, so...
Yes?
Yes.
Definitely gonna need to freaking rest after that. That was crazy.
Certainly.
See if there's anything else around in the area, like a new item or some shit. But I think you just explore the place and it's like, yes. See, like, you can't explore past there. Guardian's Dome. Wasn't much of a guardian. Let's turn this fast mode. At this rate, we might actually be done with the main quest and shit by 11 o'clock. Well, not even then. Maybe 10:30. And if anyone is game, I'm willing to stream a bit more after that.
Let's see what lies this...
Just a scroll? Really? That's all I could get from just exploring around? Doesn't matter. Oh, look here. You kind of have a Triskelion thing going on here. You got like the 3 circles and stuff. Which is, I guess, more evidence to point out how the Ingwithans are kind of sort of a reference to like Celtic sort of belief and whatnot. The big one. This is the final save before we descend into Sun and Shadow. I even call it the big one. If I can spell it.
Yes.
Pop on in. Anyone message me? Nope. Man, this is gonna be weird, finishing this game. I've been playing this game for about 2... what is it? So apparently there's 15 streams all up. Divide that, that's, you know, 4 weeks. That's 4 weeks, that equals 1 month. 2 months. 3 months. Yeah, roughly 3 and a bit months of streaming this game.
Oh?
Mind you, there's also the nights that I did not stream. The weeks that I did not stream. Here we go. Alright, I do remember that if you loot some of the corpses along the way, you can get some pretty neat scrolls. And good potions, I remember that.
Are you ready to take the oath? To spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen?
Ring of Unshackling. What's that do then? Ugh, it's just suppress affliction. Seriously, that I know it's a good thing and all. There's too many.
I am trusting you to remain loyal to the gods in this. If you do not, you will have greater powers than me to answer to. But you will answer to me as well. I wouldn't ask this were there any other choice.
Nearly there, people.
This is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. Oceanus. They have held off many would-be invaders.
You are ready to give a confession?
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Here we go. Final fight. Really, Connor? Coldur's binnings of ash. Ooh, animated weapons. This ghastly invocation causes victims' bodies and souls to rapidly dissolve. Wow, let's do that. Oh, another freaking thing. It's literally the last fight. Let's do something kind of just, body control. Fine, let's do that. Does he have...
How may I help?
What?
Yes?
Does he have the thing in his books? He does.
Yes.
You've come to a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with ardura and trimmed with copper. At the far end of a great pillar of ardura pierces the floor from below like a ragged spike, its shimmering texture giving the illusion of boundless depth. Your thoughts are yours, and they are not yours, and they're all questions. At the base of the pillar stands Theos, a look of concern on his face as he notes your approach. You have something you want to ask him, one question above all others spinning madly in your mind, but you don't dare ask it yet. You need some admission from him first, some hint of the veracity of your suspicions.
You are far from your post, Inquisitor. What brings you here?
Was Iovara telling the truth?
That woman sought only to destroy the foundations of peace and civility that my people sacrificed everything to build.
All these statues, who were they of?
They are monuments to Woodica's greatest servants among my people. I hope to join them myself one day, but my work is not yet complete.
That machine behind you, what does it do?
It has many uses, but its purpose is to bring structure to the chaos that surrounds it.
What is this place?
We are in a sanctum holy to Woodica. There are others like it in service to the other gods. I come here often to pray for her counsel, and in this space I may be assured that she hears me.
Was the entire Inquisition based on a lie?
The Inquisition was based on the need to cut the flesh from a rotting wound.
You are shaking now. Having lost all patience for tact, no more evasions, you have to know. Everything you believed, everything you have done for the gods. Did you lie to me when you said I was right to leave my family behind for the gods? Theos says nothing. Are there no gods?
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked? Something men can turn to in their darkest moments when their days seem only like bridges from one tragedy to the next. Our gods are all these things.
With Theos's every word, you find yourself losing control of a boiling cauldron of rage and doubt and fear and hopelessness until you can take it no more. Are there no gods?
We are in a sacred place within earshot of the gods themselves. This is not the time. You've been through much these past few months. You will return home and you will rest. When you feel you have recovered, you may rejoin us at the trials. The Inquisition is far from over, and I will have need of you. There are many who continue to spread the lies of the apostate. The Inquisition will not end until we have pronounced judgment on all of them.
His eyes linger on you, and there is no mistaking the threat behind it, and your rage shrinks at the image of an iron wheel in your mind, monolithic and caked with dry blood of thousands. You do not ask your question again. Now, see, one thing that I've pointed out here, that I think I will put in the breakdown, is the idea that this character, Theos ex Arcanon, if we're going with the thesis of how Pillars of Eternity is about truth, and about the discovery of truth, and everything revolving how it is elucidated for the world, Theos is the antithesis of it, not just because he is hiding secrets, but because he knows the truth, but he ignores it for his own purposes. He knows there are no real, like, actual creators of the universe, and he knows that they're just constructs. But he goes along with it anyway because he knows, because he feels that the truth doesn't really matter that much, and that's why he is the antagonist of this story, and that's because his values of truth directly fly into the face of what the game is trying to tell you, how truth is so important to people. Yeah, I think that's an interesting thing.
How did you find it?
I didn't. It was Lady Webb.
Another in a string of acts of petty defiance. For all her knowledge, she always preferred spite over reason.
She loved you.
Then she should have obeyed. I ask one thing of all my followers. She was incapable. A waste of rare talent and intellect.
Trickster characters. That's a good point. He is like a trickster villain archetype. Because he does shift forms, you know, and like Loki in, say, Avengers, he serves a higher power. He is a puppet, and tricksters are usually puppets of other greater threats. Blind obedience is a lot to ask of someone with a mind of their own. Her talent and intellect were too great for her to live as your servant.
What of your cohorts, then? They have followed you to their deaths. Is it loyalty that brings them here? Or is it, as my agents suggest, that they have no direction of their own? You have devoted yourself to studying the work of my people. Why?
I thought your people had much to teach us. That we, too, could create great machines, improve our ships, make an empire as vast and impressive as yours ever was, built upon your secrets.
And did you ever consider that these were things you were never meant to understand? That their comprehension is beyond you?
What'd you say, Sync? There's always such thing as a subjectivity of the truth. Like, each person has their own ideas of what they think are the truth. And that's exactly what I'm going to touch on near the end of the near the breakdown. Talk about the subjectivity of the truth, and to talk about how it seems like nowadays and also throughout history there have been people who go, the truth is a singular thing. It's not a universal thing. During the Enlightenment, a lot of people kind of alluded to this idea of the universal truth, and that there's systems that go, look, this system denotes the truth of the universe, denotes the truth of how humans think, how they organize their societies, and all this sort of stuff. But it seems, even after the Enlightenment, we still have these individual columns of truth that emerge that just go, okay, this is my version of the truth, this is how I see the world. And then you have the other side of the fence that go, no, this is the truth. So it's something to touch on. Everybody lies as well. Some say there are no such thing as truth anyway. See, that's another good point, is to, when you talk about truth, you also have to talk about, lying. You talk about the obfuscation of the truth. It's a very interesting subject. I know better. The Unguithans weren't an infallible race. You were never gods. All your petty experiments, your heinous crimes, your glorious achievements. You were just people, and your time came and went. Unguith is a lesson now, for those who remain. You are living in the time of my people, Almawa. You owe them more than your will ever comprehend, and so it shall ever be.
Greater civilizations than yours have attempted to reclaim what we buried. The greater their successes, the worse their fates in the end. I have seen to it. What of you, Orlin? My agents tell me you are far from home.
The audio's fucked up.
And in years. Have your friends proven a worthy distraction from the pain of ostracism?
So I'll have to say that, because obviously, I don't know if you heard that, but that just went completely, they got completely fucked. What of you, Orlin? My agents tell me you are far from home, both in distance and in years. Have your friends proven a worthy distraction from your pain of ostracism?
Ostracism? Is that the name for the groin rash your mother gave me? Don't fool yourself, old man. You know nothing about me.
That's pretty much Hiravi saying, bitch, you don't know my life. Theos, I can't hear it again. I can hear it a little bit in here, but it's still, it's like very faint. Enlighten me then. Is it Gallowayne you serve, or is it Wal?
I serve no one, but I embrace the teaching of Wal. The eyeless face does not have servants, only students.
Good one. Really? It's still glitching out on Theos. But such difficulty on the way. If you had only accepted that perhaps you were fit to serve neither god, just as you were unfit to serve your tribe, you might have saved yourself the trouble.
Perhaps you're too young to understand these things, Theos, or mayhap too simple-minded. Without difficulty along the way, one isn't much of a student to WoW.
Yet I suspect you amount to little in your god's eyes in either case.
Durin stares at Theos with a beast snarl. Theos watches him calmly.
You built a weapon delivered exactly as promised.
Why, of all times, does the audio glitch during the final confrontation? You built a weapon that delivered exactly as promised.
I served my goddess as you did yours.
Yet the other builders were slain. 11 of a dozen. Why not you? Were you somehow different? Redeemable in your god's sight?
Whatever desire I had to be redeemed in her eyes was weakness, purged by the Watcher's sight.
I didn't have that last time I played. I didn't complete Durin's quest last time I played, so it's very interesting to hear that from him.
Or was it merely that your goddess wanted you dead as well, and your delusions of importance prevented you from seeing the obvious?
A whore's beguiling charms, nothing more. But the spell's broke now, Theos. The trial's over. I know friend from foe, and I've come here now to see a foe repaid.
You were able to destroy a god because another god wished it. Without her hand to guide you, you could not strike at a god any more than you could strike the sky. You are impotent, and not just from the pox. State your name and purpose, young acolyte.
My name belonged to the gods and my hand to their service. No more.
You serve none but yourself. Without contact with your order, you can have no higher purpose. Only the base concerns of the flesh. You have cast yourself from our ranks.
I should have done so years before. I'd rather it live in uncertainty than servitude.
And that uncertainty would lead you where it leads everyone. To doubt, to emptiness, to the many cruelties inspired by disbelief. You will have to forgive your Grandmaster for remaining skeptical of his initiate's choices.
Ooh, Zawa.
I am told you are the last of a great line.
As are you.
Ooh.
But my line will continue unbroken. My people entrusted me with their wisdom, and I ensure that their legacy flourishes. Can you say the same?
How dare you? I'm going to fuck you up, Theos, for saying that.
My line is not ended while I still breathe. There is still hope for my master's legacy.
Your master's knowledge was already lost to the world. Any hope you had of rediscovering it ended with your arrival here. You are here because you are lost. The gods cannot reach everyone, I'm afraid. May you fare better in your next lives. I gather you have had your soul awakened. Why else would you shadow my footsteps like some stray mongrel? You think I have something to offer you, but our business was concluded long ago.
One of us is going to die in this room. You may as well admit your lie before that.
I answered your questions once. That your soul is not fit to accept the answers is of little concern to me. I lied to no one. Not to you, not to anyone. The gods are real. They are everything we need them to be, and the world is better for it.
You denied a generation its place in the world. You're saying this somehow improves things? You lied to everyone, yourself most of all. You convinced me once to supplant my own family with phantom gods The gods were family to neither of us. You have lied to everyone, yourself most of all.
I have no illusions about the costs involved. But what your brief lifespan obscures is that it is what must be done. The heart of this country has skipped a beat, nothing more. I have done far worse. I plunged the peaceful kingdom of Telosus into civil war. I slew the monarch of Desantio, whose people never knew hardship under his rule, and replaced him with a cruel despot who brought them to ruin.
Why would you do that?
When plague arrived at the great city of Arborensis, I saw to it that the cure did not. They piled their dead outside the city in heaps that rose above their walls.
This is supposed to diminish the damage you've done here?
It is to show the proper perspective. There was a time, back when your soul was still a shapeless mist, when the world believed only in false gods. Thousands of them. Gods that told them to take slaves. Gods that told them to make war upon their neighbors and devour the slain. Gods that told them to burn their children alive and cover themselves in the ashes as a sign of their faith. But all that changed when they learned of the true gods. Our gods. All those misshapen, bestial instincts melted beneath the radiance of our god's majesty. You could see it in their eyes. That dull emptiness replaced with the glimmer of a kindled spark.
Teaching them there were no gods would have achieved the same purpose. The spark of false hope. You led them to overcome their nature. I agree. Teaching them that there were no gods would have achieved the same purpose.
And replaced it with one far worse. Have you imagined this existence? The one the apostate would have created. We are not all so virtuous as she. Without our gods, the most wicked, the most tyrannical, they would take that power for themselves.
Oh man, this argument. Oh my god, I'm so sick of hearing this argument from people. But if we didn't have religion, how would people have morality?
But more than that, it would be a hollow existence. All mysteries forever unanswered. All purposes constructed from meaninglessness. No endings to bring closure. Only a wheel, turning without mercy, grinding our spirits to dust.
If that's how it has to be, then so be it. Better than live a lie. You're right, that's no way to live. Better than to live a lie. If that's how it has to be, then so be it.
If you would welcome a wretched and lifeless existence, then by all means. But I will not see the rest of the world saddled with such a curse. All I have seen, the millennia of experience. I will not be dissuaded from this course. This is the only way.
At least admit to me that the gods are not true gods. I need to hear it from you.
You have not thought this through. There is no leaving this place for you. I allowed it once, but you have made it all too clear what a mistake my mercy was. With your soul and thousands of others, I will see this world purged of its suffering. Hear me, Woodica. Your servant calls for aid.
Here we go.
Rock 10!
Here we go. Alright. Looks like everything's going alright. Oh no. Oh no. Interrupt him, please. Oh no. I've got the burning curse thing on me. Suppress affliction. Suppress affliction! Oh, that's doing a lot of damage. That's doing a lot of damage. That didn't do anything. Okay. Okay, I need to resurrect. Let's see, let's just throw off a few of the... You didn't shake. You didn't turn into Stelgar. Do it. Thank you. Oh, come on.
Be on seat.
Endurance is down. Oh, this is fucked. Oh, now he's inside the other thing. Yep. Alright.
Griff.
Oh, this is not good. Just fucking... Someone's like, whoop, boom! Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, he's casting freaking Cleansing Flame again. Can you interrupt this, please? What happened to you? Why are you in another plane of existence? What is going on? I think that actually worked. I think I actually did block him from doing, that spell. That really helped. Damn it. Kana's been fucking confused. Do I have anything? No. Do you have anything? Am I confused as well? What's happening here? Yeah, I'm confused.
Stand still.
We got him. In one attempt. One attempt. At your feet rests the body of Theos, hollow, the dense wrinkles shaped by the silent shouldering of an eternal burden now smoothed across his color-drained face. His soul remains still for a moment, defenseless, his energy expended in defeat. It lies sprawled across the body like a death shroud.
All those lifetimes spent to preserve a single vital secret. I can't imagine having that much certainty.
That's a fair point.
That's the servant down, and the mistress still to go. A good start, worthy of being built upon.
I hope this is the end, but what's to stop him from being born again with the same ill intent? And before you suggest the option, no, I'm not eating his soul. I'll put almost anything in my mouth, but not that.
He spent his lives, more than any of us will ever know. For what? Binding the world to a lie. Could a man like that ever be redeemed?
No, I don't think he could.
This man held to the world harder than any I have known. His suffering was plain to see.
Explore Theos' soul. With a deep breath, you plunge into Theos' soul, and where in Brackenberry it had been a maze of narrow corridors and dead ends, now it is expansive and borderless, its walls crumbling into heaps like the ruins of Engwith as you pass through them. You travel for what seems ages. rushing to a known destination, a memory you glimpsed once before. At last you see it, no more than a pinprick of light at the end of a long tunnel, expanding slowly at first, then quickly as you near. You come out in a room you are standing in now, but it is new and pristine and filled with people, thousands of them, all turned towards the great Ardra pillar and the machine that encased it. Thale stands at the machine, and you are one of him. You are one with him now. You look out at the crowd, at faces with shriveled old men and cherub-cheeked little girls, at mothers bouncing infants to quiet them, and fathers clasping their children's restless hands, and watching you with somber acceptance. A woman, tears in her eyes, gives you a small nod. You turn back toward the machine, your breaths constricted beneath the weight of the unwanted knowledge, preparing yourself to set out alone on a journey without end. You close your eyes and open them again to find the machine still in front of you, beckoning. You take your place at the front of it. You place your hands upon a large metal disc at the base of the great crystal column and speak a single word. Giant rings creak to life, building speed, setting arrays of carved draconic mouths aglow and sending tremors throughout the platform beneath you. The entire room shakes now with the force of an accelerating machine, all sound drowned out by its deep, deafening thrum. Brilliant tendrils of light arc outward from the pillar in all directions as you look over the shoulder to see them engulfing the crowd, burning them brightly like hot iron. One by one, the tendrils disappear, leaving ashen effigies where the people once stood, many of them disintegrating into grey heaps under the stress of the tremors. You look above the Ardra pillar, and a glowing spherical mass has begun to coalesce at the top of the column where the arcs converge. It grows and pulses, translucent and bulbous like some immense chrysalis, suspended in slow rotation as though it were being spun from the arcs of light. When the last arc disappears, the spectral mass hangs a moment, no longer rotating, so bright as you shield your eyes from the outstretched hand, and it seems as though it is looking at you. You bow your head in acknowledgement, and look back to see it melt into the pillar like warm candle wax. The pillar flares with a flash of light, bright as the sun itself, then fades into darkness. The machine slows down to an abrupt halt, and when the last echo of its grinding cogs is past, the chamber is still, and you are alone. From all sides, reality begins to bleed in through the memory, and you find yourself in your own skin once more, looking down at Theos' lifeless body. You sense a listlessness to Theos' soul, an overwhelming fatigue that hinders its immediate escape, that makes it vulnerable to manipulation. You feel as though your victory has given you some kind of hold over it, and you are able to do with it as you please. Now, the last time I did this, I imprisoned him in Breath Armon. I don't want to be merciful. I know that much. I don't think he should return to the wheel. You will remember this. I don't think it will be that, because he'll just come back. He is so devoted to his cause that he will not be simply just thwarted by the idea that someone has defeated him. Maybe he's been defeated before, and we have never known. Tear his soul apart. I do not envy you, Theos. I of all people realize the sway memories can hold. It is time you were granted peace. Banish his soul. No, I did that one. Destroy all memories contained within. Your memory makes you a slave to your own past. Perhaps it can't be undone, but it can be forgotten. It should trouble neither of us any longer. The thing is, Terrasol, you cause me great suffering, Theos. You do not deserve to exist. See, like, I don't think this person's, like, that cruel. I don't think Gisera, my character, is that cruel to say, like, you cause me great suffering. Destroy all memories contained within. So, he wouldn't remember anything, but there's a chance he could remember, right? Maybe I should banish him to Breath Eamon. I don't know. I'm stuck between these three. I'm not going to return him to the cycle. That's a dumb move. But I'm not going to tear him apart because of vindictiveness. Sorry about this. I just have to. I have to decide. I do not envy you, Theos. Of all people, sway memories can hold. It's time you were granted peace. For Eavara, I disintegrated her soul so that she could move on. Maybe it is because... Maybe that's a bit of a theme for this character, is that she believes that things just need to die. Things need to just kind of level out, you know? If we persist with these ideas of, you know, of the Ingwithan Empire and the sway of the gods and everything like this, like... But he also knows that the gods don't exist. They were created. They're not actually the sui generis, sorry, not sui generis, the original creators of the universe. They were constructed to kind of bring in the chaos of the people. So would it be really that bad if the memory remains? So that we can go, there is someone that knows that the gods technically are just constructs. Banish his soul to Breath Armon. I did that last time. I want to do something different. That's definitely a thing. I want to do something different. I want to banish him to Breath Armon. Destroy all memories contained within. Tear his soul apart. I would do the top. I would do the second. I do not envy you. So it's either one of these two. It's either 2 or 4. Maybe Jazera started off being cruel, but then she kind of just became honest. And realized that, you know, especially with kind of going through the White March, maybe she realizes that there is an element that memories do cause great suffering, and in some cases there is a necessity for memories to be removed. You know, maybe there is a thing that she learned from going to Stalwart and opening the White Forge. Sorry, the Forge. Durgan's Battery, I should say. Alright, we're going with 4. We're going with 4. Destroy all memories contained within.
No! You cannot allow this. You will have no reminders. He will not remember the message we wrote on his fragmented bones and carved into his flesh. The lesson we burned into his soul.
Oh, this will piss off Durance.
You've given him a clean tablet, and a chance to be of use in his next life. This is a kindness Theos does not deserve, but perhaps whatever merit is in him will be known to the world the next time around. Let us hope his old nature dies with his
You were kinder to that man than I would have been.
You return to the landscape of Theos' memory, to the vast terrain of deceptions and crippling despair. You can feel your agency in the world now, an ability to reshape your whims to the dominant will. You focus on a vision of pure emptiness, and your will becomes a swirling vortex around you, sweeping through the landscape and bearing away memories and lifetimes like some apocalyptic biawak that would tear away the essence of the planet itself. The storm builds until the very crust of the world peels away from the fabric of the soul that anchored it, and is borne off into the sky until it is too distant to observe. The last thing you see is the white void, boundless in all directions, unfettered by the shackles of experience and doubt. In the stillness that follows, the single word echoes through your mind, a word you spoke from the when you were with Theos in an ancient memory. You realize that it is the word that activates the machine.
Grave does not believe.
Oh, they all have a thing to chat about. I don't remember this.
Astounding. I always knew the Leaden Key stood for something big, but I didn't quite realize what I'd gotten myself into. And now, you're in the middle of something even bigger. With a decision that will affect millions. But even if you send the souls somewhere specific now, who knows what the next turn of the wheel will make of them? We can't really control what happens to them. Nor should we try. I had to see the monster Theos had become to realize that.
I won't leave something this important up to chance.
It's your decision, of course. And whatever you decide, I'm glad our paths crossed in Gilded Vale.
Everyone has a thing to chat about.
The end of the road greets us at last. You fared well, Watcher. Better than any Watcher has right to. Seems you were a field in need of a flame's cleansing. Would that my own trial had produced such an outcome. I had figured myself for the field all this time. But you were the field, and I the darkness. A lesson neither of Durance nor of Margaret. But with that trial's end, a new one begins. A god's trial. And I will stand in judgment without mercy.
That is one of the only things I can respect about you, Durance. Thank you.
We've come to the end of it, my friend. It has been an honor to walk this road with you, and I will regret our parting.
I will not stay in Rawatai long, I think. If it means to change, I see there is nothing I can do to stop it. But there are many places yet to see, mysteries to unravel. And while I cannot say I aspire to match your fierceness, I cannot deny it has saved on us on many occasions. And I thank you. Haravius!
Victory looks good on you. There was a blur about your soul that lingers no more. Seems putting Theos to rest has given you some measure of inner peace. Of course, now you need to decide what to do with these trapped souls. So many hopes and dreams, all of them torn from the cycle and trapped for Wal knows how long. You could set them free, nowhere in particular. Just free to go Wal knows where. Think of how many new lives and new journeys could start this very moment. It's all in your hands. I know you are the right person to decide the fate of so many. You helped bring me closer to Wal, and I believe Wal delivered you to this moment, this decision. It has been an honor to be along for the journey.
So I wonder also if you had chosen Galawain, which I did in the last game, but I don't remember what he said. If choosing Galawain would make his dialogue change, which I think is absolutely magnificent. All right, everyone. There's only 3 people watching, or 2 people watching, I should say. But
certainly.
Let's do this. As you approach the machine, the path underfoot suddenly changes to a cobbled road, and you hadn't explored. If you hadn't experienced visions like this already in Ter Evron, you'd be tempted to believe that the machine had sucked you into it and deposited you into some middle of nowhere. The sun blazes overhead, and the rolling meadows and thick forests of either side of the road could be anywhere in the Deerwood. Let's get it. Let's get it? What do you mean, let's get it? A shrill cackle turns your head. Standing next to you is the malnourished man clad in threadbare loincloth and manacles. His entire body is stripped with lash marks, and there are scarred pits where his nose and ears should be. He stinks of stale sweat and unwashed filth. You notice someone wandering down the road, but the figure's back is to you. The scarred slave has your attention for now.
You once grew fat while others spent the currency of their lives in your service. I would gladly rend your back with a lash, taking interest for every drop of blood you spilt, every scrap of flesh you scarred. But my mistress would appeal to your sense of perspective, for you know that all things have their place. You have labored at the pleasure of others, That shriveled hag in Hadrat House, those pompous dear wooden zealots, the wretched tribesmen playing out their fantasies of grandeur. And then you cowered and knelt before the gods themselves, begging one paltry favor and receiving riddles and visions in response. And now the gods give you orders and commands, even while you set out to fix what they cannot. Yet what have they offered you?
I get the feeling this is his way of giving you new orders on behalf of his own master. Be careful. Five Copper says he's about to sell you his own agenda, and Weil knows that, and only Weil knows what that might be. If I were you, I'd tell him the other gods offered us a dozen nubile lasses, and if he can match that, then haggle him from there. Given the breadth of the iron manacle, it's amazing that he can rise his bone-thin arm, but he does, and he points to the person walking the other way along the road.
The exiled queen is not an ungrateful patron.
You get a better look of the lone figure and realize that she's wearing robes, tattered and singed, but fine nonetheless. On her head is the silhouette of a broken crown. She continues walking, her pace slow but determined.
Finish the work Theos began. Strengthen Woodica with these souls and allow her to become the most powerful of all the gods, with you as her favored.
Nope, that's not happening. I've been working against Woodica this whole time. Why would she thank me now after I've defeated her most loyal servant? Loyal and weak, Theos proved his inadequacy when he failed to anticipate you. A plan exposed is worse than none at all. But you have proved resourceful, equal to the schemes of the gods. Woodica has a long memory, Watcher, for both friends and foes. And she keeps her oaths. What do you mean by her favored? The recipient of Woodica's blessings, she has always had a place for mortals of particular merit. If you help her now, she will become the most powerful of all the gods, and you will be the one who made her so. Think of the lifetimes of reward you would reap. The only reward I wish is the joy of pulling bloody shards of a broken crown from my staff when I have finished her trial. So says your companion who's been abandoned by his own god. Do you really trust him to make alliances for you? Helping Woodica would mean that the secrets of the gods stay hidden. Safely hidden, yes, from the violent overlords who would cease to fear punishment in the next life. From the heavy-handed masters who would answer to no one. The world needs some schemes, or are the souls of Kith so pure that you would snap the tenuous threads that bind society? Have caution, Jazera. All schemes desire an immediate and an ignorant multitude. What they fear most is that we should know enough not to be content in our places. I've explained the alternative, Watcher. Continue as a pawn of the gods, or a partner of one. I won't help you.
You say that now, but when you're standing in front of the machine, considering the lifetimes and the powers that await you, we'll see what you do.
I want to do a playthrough where I actually do accept Woodica as my patron. Here we go. With your companions bearing witness, you step up to the place where Theos once stood before his people long ago. The great machine lies in front of you, idle, ready. You have seen this machine and others like it in operation. You understand how it works. It is a device for directing souls. As a watcher, it would be a simple matter to influence that direction, though as big as the machine is, it may be the last thing you ever do. Speak the command to activate the machine. There's a shrieking of stone and grinding against the stone. There's a shrieking of stone grinding against the stone. That sounds weird. As old cogs loosen and begin to turn, you feel only moments before the souls will be sent into the Ardra vein. There will be your This will be your only chance at redirecting them. Send the souls back into reincarnation for the cycle. Return the souls to the bodies they were intended for. That's Hylia's thing. Intricately disintegrate the souls. That's Rimagond. Distribute the essences into the Deerwood to strengthen them. That's Galawain. I promised Bereth that I would send the souls to the reincarnation cycle, and if this character is anything, she is honest and loyal to her word. So, send the souls back into the reincarnation cycle. You close your eyes and expand your perception outward, taking in the immense totality of the tens and thousands of souls orbiting the chamber. Your grasp on the souls is tenuous. You find yourself fighting to keep them all under your influence, and you can feel them slipping away from you as the machine gains speed. A brief moment comes when it feels as though you hold all of them all at once, and their force is so great it feels as though they will tear you apart. In that moment, you dedicate your entire being to bending their orbit, channeling their flow in a new direction. It's done!
At your command, the ancient device became your instrument, spinning to life with deafening resonance and gathering up the swirling essence like thread on a great spindle. There, in the pale, pulsing glow of the machine that set you on this path long ago, you summoned all your strength, focusing on your objective and blocking out all else. With a single concussive blast that rocked the chamber and sent you tumbling to the ground, you freed the souls from their stasis. Exhausted, your consciousness slipping away, your last sight was of the machine, dark and dormant. Then your eyes closed, and sleep welcomed you at long last. After coming to and searching for some time, you discovered the route Theos used to enter Sun and Shadow, and embarked on a long and arduous ascent back to the surface. You emerged in Ter Evron after days of tunneling through the rubble Theos had left behind, and when you stepped into the daylight, you were faced with a different Deerwood than the one you had left. At your direction, the lost souls of the Hollowborn were funneled back into the churn of Bareth's wheel to find their way into new vessels and partake in the life they had been denied during Widewind's legacy. Though parents of Hollowborn would remain just that, the end of Widewind's legacy would bring about a spate of new, healthy births, with many of the infants bearing souls once meant for Hollowborn children. The natural cycle of life and death had been restored to Deerwood, and with it came a renewed faith in the providence of the gods.
Ugh.
Lord Radric's zeal had brought him back to life once, but it would not do so again.
Yes!
Radric's destruction at your hands spelled the end of his suffocating rule over Gilded Vale and the surrounding area. In his absence, the village prospered, becoming a popular destination for new settlers anxious to leave Defiance Bay after the riots. Without a nearby ruler, it also grew more wild, with many settlers moving on as soon as they'd arrived, turned off by lawlessness that was excessive even by Deerwooden standards. Nevertheless, despite the challenges of living there, Gilded Vale had survived, and would continue to survive for the foreseeable future. Following the assassinations of Duke Avar Wolfgren and Lady Webb, Defiance Bay was thrown into political upheaval. In the ensuing weeks, the streets had become the domain of looters and blackguards. Few dared to step outside their own doors alone or unarmed. But once the dozens had regrouped in the wake of the riots, they quickly put an end to the criminal activity.
Oh.
They patrolled the streets in droves and administered their brand of law on any perceived offenders. This was not the erratic justice of the mob, however. The dozens had taken to heart the strengths of their adversaries, the Knights of the Crucible, and emerged as a far more organized, disciplined force. With the waning strength of the other Defiance Bay powers, the leadership of the dozens took the opportunity to establish its own group as the dominant peacekeeping force in the city.
Wow.
The dozens would soon find themselves overwhelmed by the problems of a leaderless metropolis. But they found an uneasy new partner in the surviving forces of the Crucible Knights, who understood the city's infrastructure and were able to keep the worst of its problems under control. The destruction of the machine atop Ter Noaneth spelled the end of the reanimated corpses in Heritage Hill. Though at first few were willing to venture into the abandoned district, it was soon cleaned out and rebuilt. The district's horrors still fresh in people's minds, it would be some time before it was fully repopulated. But eventually the lure of cheap prime land would all but erase the memory. The Duke's assassination at the apparent hands of an animancer had caused catastrophic rioting in the streets of Defiance Bay. But those who had escaped the melee and the palace hearings remembered the testimonies of the strange guest who had shown up that day and absolved animancy, implicating the leaden key instead. The rumor spread quickly, and soon the popular belief was that the assassin had been a leaden key spy. When the legacy had lifted, people came to see it not as a sign that the riots had been according to the god's wishes, as Theos had hoped, but as a confirmation that animancy had never been the source of the problem in the first place. Deerwoodans instead convinced themselves that the riots had somehow purged Defiance Bay of leaden key spies, and that the end of Whitewind's legacy was their well-deserved reward. The rage against animancers was quickly forgotten, and those who had survived were permitted to return to Brackenberry Sanitarium and rebuild it so they might resume their studies.
Oh, good.
The town of Deerford had seen the last of the cult of Scan. Dark rumors about the town's many curses quickly faded, and travelers soon returned. Abidon's renewal brought new vigor and purpose to a god long known for quiet, steady labor.
Yes.
Handicraft saw a revival in the Deerwood, and no smith wanted for an apprentice. Additionally, Abidon's restored interest in preservation led to redoubled efforts to survey Engwithan ruins. Animancers and craftsmen alike found much to study, but tensions with Aer Glanfath rose.
Oh, shit.
As for Stalwart, the Battle of Caron's Scar only strengthened their resolve to unlock the mysteries of Durgan steel and build new marvels with the White Forge.
What was the White Forge?
However, Stalwart's ambitions brought them into further conflict with the Raid Serens, as more and more impoverished communities gathered at the border and vowed to finish the work of the Iron Flail. It would be many generations before the region saw peace.
Shit.
The Flames That Whisper clan found a cautious peace with Stalwart, particularly once the villagers heard of the aid the ogres had offered against the Eyeless. The clan moved back into the Russet Wood, and as Stalwart grew in prestige, the villagers formed a tighter alliance with their ogre neighbors. Within a generation, ogre traders visited Stalwart, and village hunters were welcome in the Russet Wood. Harmka's death had brought the Devil of Carrick little satisfaction. In
So the
time,
companion ones now.
her taste for vengeance soured. What replaced it was a hunger to feel something, anything, new. Summer had thinned the snowpack twice over when she felt the joint at her elbow first begin to stiffen. She turned her back on the hopes of animancy and civilization and walked east.
Oh.
She pushed through the mountains, past Raid Ceres, and into the broad plains of Ishamiddle. She had forgotten what it was like to simply journey, no goal or destination in mind. Though she felt nothing more than the steady thump of her feet on the road, the endless horizons and grassy meadows were new to her. She measured her time in the gradual rusting of her body and was satisfied. Her movements slowed, but so did the world around her. Waist-high grasses undulated and tacked in the wind, as gradual as the tides. Sparrows and blackjays made steady pilgrimages across the sky, each flap of their wings a solemn salute. She could hardly move when she found something she had never seen before, the ocean. With the last of her strength, she pulled herself beneath the water, content at last to feel the movement of currents and the constant caress of the waves. Zawa came to believe that the Dakan had survived through him. He returned to Ishamiddle, where he united a number of small, vulnerable tribes under the beliefs of his people.
Yay!
He called them Takanakin, kin of Takan, and under his tutelage, they became strong enough to resist would-be conquerors. Zawa taught his secrets not to one chosen person, but to all, that the line of knowledge might never be broken.
Yes!
Free from the burden of her memory, Maneha soon left the gift-bearers and resumed adventuring. Now that she had a taste for the world, she wanted to experience it anew. Maneha rediscovered her zest for battle, extravagance, and romance. She kept her gaze on the horizon, looking from one journey to another more distant, from the lover in her arms to another more fervent. Hers was a life of excitement, violence, and passion. She moved too quickly for regret to catch up with her, and she hoped only that she might outpace it in the next life as well.
That's good.
The fortress of Cadnua emerged as a bastion of security in the midst of an untamed land, becoming the envy of every thane and earl in Deerwood. Legend grew over time of its impregnability, and stories of formidable invaders easily scattered by the keep's defenses became popular around the hearths of Deerwoodinians. Likewise, it also became a beacon to travelers, merchants, and visiting dignitaries alike. Reputed as the finest fortress in all Deerwood, people would journey from near and distant lands alike to experience its fabled hospitality and grandeur. Pallegina had followed her orders from the Duke's bells, helping establish an exclusive trade arrangement between the Valian republics and the tribes of Air Glanfath. With the Deerwood's people still weakened by Widewind's legacy, the Valian republics easily pushed their would-be competitors out of the market. The Deerwoods suffered as terribly from the lost trade as the republics benefited from it. Pallegina was honored for her service by being assigned as the personal guard of the Duchess of Spirento. Despite her success, she regretted the choices she had made along the way. Haravius took his leave of the party and, after his first bath in years, returned to his nomadic lifestyle. With his homesickness expunged, he found renewed joy and tranquility in his wandering survey of the wilderness. For the first time in his life, he ventured beyond sight of the mountains of Air Glanfath. During his travels, he penned numerous journals and sketches detailing his travels through frozen tundra, searing desert, and tropical forests. Wherever he went, Haravius left behind stories of the Autumn Druid, a temperamental, one-eyed wise man of the forest, known to bring food to lost travelers, and unusual advice to anyone willing to ask him a question.
That's so cool.
Adair chose not to return home to Gilded Vale. Through a number of quiet inquiries, he soon found his way into the underground organization of Aethasians known as the Night Market. Ironically, in learning that the gods had been fabricated, Adair found his faith in Aethus renewed, and that his god was neither alive nor truly a god had become irrelevant. He rose quickly through the ranks of the Night Market for his optimism and for his bold leadership, his ultimate goal to make the Deerwood a place that would welcome followers of the Shining God once again. When the dust settled in Sun and Shadow, Aloth looked upon the remains of Theos Ixarchanon, his former master. He saw where the Grand Master had gone wrong and what would be required to undo the harm Theos had wrought. With a flick of his wrist, he burned Theos's robe, headdress, and every other symbol of the man's power. Never again, he vowed, should Kith live in fear and blind obedience to an authority they did not understand. Armed with the knowledge and courage he had gained on his journeys with the Watcher, he set out on the long and lonely task of dismantling the Leaden Key. With the Watcher's goals accomplished and his own vows fulfilled, Kanorua sailed back toward Rawatai, thinking on the lessons his travels had provided him. By the time he landed at Tekoa, he understood what his path must be. Standing before the Lore College, Kanorua explained that the tablet he sought had been destroyed, and so a true interpretation of the Tonvi Oratoa could no longer exist. The people of Rawatai would have to create their own. He described the many strange things he had seen in his travels, and announced his intent to pursue the accumulation of knowledge abroad, seeking answers to new questions. True to his word, Kana soon set sail on yet another expedition, and in Tekoa, his passionate accounts inspired many to follow in his footsteps. With Theos defeated and the souls released from Sun and Shadow, healthy children were born once again in the Deerwood. The grieving mother sought a place where she might do penance for the birthing bell. She returned to Deerford, where, to the astonishment of the villagers, she delivered the first healthy child in over a decade. She remained there, and with each new birth, she saw a measure of hope restored to the Deerwood, and a measure of grace for her own troubled past.
Yes.
Durrance used Magrin's strength only until Theos had been cast from the world, and then swore off her influence entirely. Regret came to weigh heavily on his mind, and a man who had never previously lacked for words or opinions came to embrace silence and contemplation. He continued to wander, penniless and destitute, searching now not for the reason for his goddess's silence, but for a mechanism for revenge. The charred robes he continued to wear as a reminder that he had been burned by his goddess, and not just by the flames of the Godhammer. Sagani experienced the 4 months of her journey back to Masuk in vivid colors. She strove to memorize every moment of her final trip through the Deerwood, Erglonfoth, the Valian Republics, and beyond, preparing to tell her village of what she had seen on her long journey. All of Masuk shared in her triumph, and she felt her pride and elation magnified by the joy of her village. Never again did she doubt the value of her sacrifices. After decades as a long hunter, Sagani finally became one of Masuk's most respected elders.
Oh, cool.
She guided her community with wise counsel, and a generation after she finally passed, another huntress journeyed into the world to find her soul. For you, the death of Theos brought an end to your waking visions, and a silence to the whispers of the past. In their absence, you were able to sleep. The questions of a distant lifetime ceased to trouble your soul. All that remained was what to make of the answer.
That's awesome.
But at the moment, there was little to be done, and the matter would have to wait. A long journey loomed ahead, made no easier by your decision to bring an infant to Sun and Shadow.
Oh yeah, I still have an infant. So I get that in the next game. Well, I guess now's a better time, no better a time than any, to discuss the ending. Through the credits, I mean. So, first of all, the first playthrough I did, I got a terrible ending. I got stuff like, so I put the souls to strengthen the people in the Deerwood, which is Galawain's thing, but it fucked up. And, like, apparently people got really pissed off, and, like, Galawain's creatures, like, descended upon the Deerwood, and they slaughtered a whole bunch of people. The Animancers were blamed for the cause of, for everything. So that was bad. Oh, Sam, you arrived a bit too late, but yeah, that we finished it. Feel free to rewatch it later. But yeah, it's done. We finished it basically. But yeah, we're just discussing the ending, and yeah. So as I was saying, like, so the last time I didn't get the best ending. Hey, additional system design is Tim Kaine. Narrative design, Chris Avalon, Carrie Patel. I actually have one of Carrie Patel's books here, actually. I can't see it because it's on the second 10-second delay. But that's her actual book there. I got into it. It was okay, but maybe I'll attempt it again someday, but I don't know. Anyway, so here we go. Lead writer was Eric Fenstermaker. A lot of people don't know that. I haven't heard Eric Fenstermaker as actually a big thing in so we have George Sawyer, Chris Avalon. The Kickstarter team head of the list is Chris Avalon. Yeah, that's it. That's one of her novels that she wrote. Undercity. This is the first one, which is The Buried Life. Yeah, I could talk about this in another thing, but yeah, it was good, but I think there were some things that didn't allow me to get into it too easily. But yeah, so what can I say? I'm so glad that I managed to get a good ending. Like, that is so satisfying to have, because in the last playthrough I got a terrible ending. Like, lots of people died. Durance committed suicide. Adair was like completely like, you know what? I just go back, and I think he became a farmer after that, you know? So that was pretty depressing. But like, everyone had a good ending. I worked on all the companions' quests and got it all wrapped up in a neat little bow, and everyone was happy. It's great. Yeah. No, it was a really good ending. Like, there was some moments of bittersweetness. Like, Palagina's ending was a bit bittersweet. Like, the actual ending of, like, putting the souls back into the wheel, like what Berith commands, actually allowed people to go, like, you know, after the riots in Defiance Bay, they were like, hey, after we kind of purged everyone of the Leaden Key, like, after we got rid of all the Leaden Key spies, like, everything went back to normal. Widewind's legacy ended. So maybe it was just the Leaden Key. So people were like, oh, we believe in the gods again and all this sort of stuff, which is kind of, for me, like, come on. But, like, you know, obviously that's the thing of this whole story, is that even though you don't come out, your objective of this story is not to come through it and be like, convince people like, hey, shout from a crate in the middle of the town square being like, the gods are not real. The whole point of the story is to kind of like reveal a truth and then have it stay with you, you know, and to reveal it to all these people and watch how, in your closest friends, how it actually changes them. You know, how the truth the truth changes people. And I think that's a really important point to do with what happened in the wake of everything. Oh, they do Pillars of White March credits. I actually want to see this bit because I'm curious as to who is the main writers, because I'm pretty sure it's Fenstermaker and Carrie Patel, and Chris Avalon didn't have that much of an influence. So here we go. Game director is Josh Sawyer. Art lead, design lead is Josh Sawyer. So he had a big thing. He had a big credit in this. Lead narrative designer, Eric Fenstermaker. See, he was the guy that did the whole White Forge story. He was the one that did the story of Andra and Abaddon. So that's something to really walk away with. Like, a lot of people look at Josh Sawyer, Chris Avalon when it comes to Pillars of Eternity, but no one talks about Eric Fenstermaker. Even though he was... Oh, here we go. Design. Systems narrative design is by Carrie Patel. And Carrie Patel she's been working in games like Outer Worlds. She did a big thing in Pillars of Eternity 2. As I mentioned, I have one of her books. Here we go, writing. Fenstermaker. Again, additional writing is Josh Sawyer. Not to kind of discredit Josh Sawyer, but it really does seem more that Eric is kind of an unsung hero in this case, in my opinion. I think it's important that we kind of pay attention to some of the people who make our stories, make our games that we love so much. Of course, we can't name all these people and be like, oh, thank you. But it's important to point out, like, how it's not just one person in a writing team that leads the whole show. It's not just one person that leads the thing in audio. I think we always need to be conscious of that, because it allows people to kind of walk away with like for example, when like a narrative lead leaves a major AAA game that's coming out, and people go, oh, no, it's shit now. It's like, well, there are other people working on this game, and we shouldn't just look to things and be like, well, that person's gone, so it's shit now, you know? I like the reveal of the Kith Forerunners constructed by the gods because they didn't believe normies can look after themselves. Normies. And the moral ambiguity of the implication. Yeah, that's exactly it. You were a bit late for that, but that's okay. Just rewatch the video later. But yeah, that's a very important point. It is morally ambiguous as to putting this blanket explanation, this blanket sort of rationalization of how people need the gods, otherwise they become animals. You know, people. Theos even says like, who would rise above their basic animal instincts and stuff like this. You know, and it's a very contentious topic even today, I mean, I don't need to get into it, but it does raise, it's something that should be at the helm of a lot of what we think about in modern society nowadays. And just human history in general. But I am extremely happy that this is now done. The game is done. I can play other fucking games now. Oh my god. Like, I've missed playing other games. I really have. I didn't realize it until this very moment. I mean, I'm gonna really sort of, I'm gonna, hash out the final script. I'm gonna focus on getting the video done, because I know a lot of people are actually waiting for it, which is, I know it's only like a handful of people, like I can count them on my fingers, who have actually said like, hey, I really want to watch the video. But I'm happy about that, so I'm gonna work on it really hard over the next few days. I'm hoping to film and record next weekend, and then for after that it'll just be video editing, and I have a mate who will help me with audio mastering and making a custom soundtrack, because that's what really helped last time with the Disco Elysium video, was having that custom soundtrack that really helped. I think that really brought the video together in a really nice way that I haven't done before. All before the Disco Elysium video, I've always like just pulled, wherever soundtracks off of the game and like mix them together, or like, go to what's his name? You get copyright license-free music and just mix it all together. Kevin MacLeod, that's his name. Get Kevin MacLeod's music and just mix it all together. But this time around, like having like an actual defined track is actually going to be really cool. He's going to help with the audio as well. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Yeah, I don't know what to do after this. We could just go for the credits, and anyone wants to chat or anything like that. Someone has. It's only one person watching. But yeah, I think we'll go through to the end of the credits, and then from there I'll probably just call it. Streams have been going about two and a half hours, so I think it's a good time to call it. But yeah, thank you, Sync. They're really happy to hear that. And I should squeeze in probably before I end the video here. There will be no more live streams on YouTube. There will be. I'm gonna try and actually do something a bit cool with me compiling like best of, or like compilations and stuff like that, to be like pull some of the stuff from Twitch over to YouTube. I can't promise that will happen often, mainly because of the amount of energy we require. I think we'll be seeing that next year, because from here up until January, after this video, I'm not going to be really focusing on a lot of YouTube stuff. I'm going to focus on my writing. I'm going to make sure I'm going to try and get a few more novellas out. So I want to make an anthology. I want to get that published, but I have to work on that. And to me, that is the most important thing. Like after this video is done, my writing. I'm also going to work on some stuff for my portfolio. I'm actually deciding to create a portfolio as a game writer. And I have someone who's actually been giving me some pro tips, and he's been helping me. Like, he's a professional in the industry, so he's been kind of we've been bouncing back and forth, being like, what do you think of this? He's like, oh, I think you need to fix it here, but you're on the right track. So that's going to be really interesting. And above all, like, that is partly what I really want to do. Is I really do want to write stories and get into the game industry as a lead narrative design. I know it's like kind of a dream thing, because it's, you know, one of those things of like, you're just a guy with ideas, but I can safely say I'm less of a person with just ideas, but I know how those ideas can be implemented. I'm hoping I can, you know, get that across a bit more. Yeah, we'll wait till the credits end and then we'll call the vid. But anyone who watches this after, thank you so much for watching. Oh, Sync, you've been here from the very beginning, I think, so thank you very much. And we've had some guests along the way, so that's been cool. And even though it's only like I can count on my hand how many people have you know, watch the peak stream, I'm still happy that they've come by and watched. It's been cool. This all started because I was bored in lockdown, so you know, it's been quite been really good to just kind of have this outlet, and as a result, I've kind of caught the bug, so to speak, and I'm going to probably start Twitch. I will start Twitch. Sync, by the way, I will be starting a Discord, and you will be the first person I will invite, so that's going to be pretty cool. Sam, if you're... Oh, you're not in this at the moment. Sam, you would be invited next as well. There won't be much happening on the Discord, obviously. There's only going to be... God, not even 5 people on it, and I understand that, you know, I have a small community, and I don't care. It's just, I really want to interact with you guys, you know? Guys and gals. So, that'll be happening after this. I'll probably just get that done, get that ready, and then I'll invite you, Sync. And, I don't even know what we'll do with it, you know? It might, like, a lot of YouTubers try to do the whole thing of, you know, Discord's become like the patron-only thing. And I get that people do it for certain reasons and stuff. But I honestly just want to interact with people. I want to interact with the people who watch my videos. So, I'm not going to do any, like, oh, you get access to shit if you pay for me and stuff. I don't have a patron. I turned it off a few months ago. So, you know. Thank you very much, Sync. Yeah, I'll get the thing going after, and yeah, like, that's the thing as well. Like, playing a game like Pillars really, like, back in 2018, like even 3 years after it was released, really made me go, man, I just want to work on stories like this. I want to be a part of the team and everything to create such an experience for people. You know, like, I want to write like that. That's just a thing that I've denied it for most of my life because, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you don't earn money from it. It's a pipe dream, all this sort of shit. But, you know, as I've gotten on in life, I've kind of realized, like, you know, I only live once, and if I just kind of deny it because people tell me, oh, you know, you're not going to make money from it, it's like, oh, what the fuck am I doing, basically? So, yeah, it's going to be great. I don't know if this is actually going to end anytime soon, so let's just speed it up a little bit. I've said pretty much all I can. I love the game. Can't wait to make the video. Discord, Twitch, all that stuff is happening. Man, there were a lot of a lot of Kickstarters for this. Like, a lot. We're only at the R's. Alright, we're the S's now. Oh, that's hurting my eyes. T's. W, Y. Let's slow it down. Wait, is there another fucking thing? Alright, we're up to the J's. M's. Let's speed up again. Oh, here we go. Pillars of Eternity. And that's it. Alright. So yeah, that's the end of the stream. I thought, like, if I finished it around 11 tonight, I would be going over to Twitch and getting people to migrate over. But, it's 11:30. I gotta set up a Discord and do a bunch of other stuff. So, I think that's where we can safely call it. Again, I've already said thank you to everyone who's watched this 15-part series thing. I'm gonna create like a playlist, so people who are like, oh, you know, you did a playthrough, whatever. I'm like, yep, it's over here. Click the playlist. I think that will help a lot of people who want to watch it, like if they're studying or something and want something to play in the background or something. Is the only reason I can really imagine people watching it. But yeah, thank you all for coming along, watching me play this awesome game, Yeah, same time next week roughly for first time streaming on Twitch, like in the, legit. I'm still kind of a little bit shaky with how to use Twitch, but my wife helped me like figure out some things. So I really have nothing else to say. I'm just prattling on. Thank you all for joining me, and I'm really glad that you came along. So hi to your friends for me, and I'll see you later.